Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. So in today's session, we are going to discuss the first topic of economics for SEBI Grade A 2022. That is the demand and supply. And we will be discussing the important things that you need to know about the demand and supply for the SEBI Grade A 2022. So before starting with the session, there is a big announcement by EduTap that for SEBI Grade A legal officer, we have brought for your preparation the practice 5000 plus MCQs, and that also chapter wise. And if you want to know more about this offer, you can go in the description box where the link is provided regarding this. Okay, and there is also free 500 plus MCQs. So now starting with the session, what is demand? See, if I am going to a shop and I want a chocolate, is that what we call demand? Because I am wanting something. No, that is not demand in the economy. Demand is what we are willing to buy or willing to pay for, plus we are ability to pay, plus we are able to buy that. That is, we have the purchasing power to buy that. So when we are willing to pay for something, or when we are willing to buy, as well as when we are able to buy, that is what the economy, the demand in the economy is. When I am going to a shop, I have 10 rupees to buy the chocolate and I am willing to buy that chocolate, then we can say that that is the demand in the economy. That is, we have the purchasing power to buy something in the economy. Now I hope you have understood the demand in the economy when you are willing and able to pay for it, to buy it. Okay. Now we need to understand the law of demand. See, the law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship. There is an inverse relationship between the price and the demand. When the prices are rising, there is a fall in the demand. So that is the inverse relationship. And when the prices are falling, there is a rise in the demand. That the table shows us. When there is a decrease in the price, there is a rise in the demand. And when the prices have further reduced from 20 rupees to 10 rupees, there is a further rise in the demand from 1.5 to 3. So now we can understand the function of the demand. That demand is depending upon the price. That when the prices are falling or when the prices are rising, then what is happening to the demand? So price is the independent variable and demand is the dependent variable in this function. Okay, if we want to expand it further, if I want to show it in the mathematical terms, then it can be shown as demand is equal to A minus BP. Here A is the intercept. What is the intercept? That even if price is 0 and this term, this whole term vanishes. If the price is 0, then also there will be some demand in the economy and there will be some demand by the people. Now this P, if this P is rising, let's say it is rising. Now what is this? P is price, I hope you all know. So this price is, this P is price. This B is the slope. That is, if the prices are rising by 1 rupees, how much the demand is changing? This is what the slope tells us. That if the prices are rising by 1 rupees, then how much the demand will fall by. And why we are saying that if it is rising, it is falling? Because the negative sign is showing us that there is an inverse relationship between the two variables, between the P and the D. So A is the intercept, S is the slope. Slope tells us that how much change is happening in the dependent variable with respect to the independent variable. So I hope you have understood the function and the mathematical equation. Now we can move towards the curve, demand curve. Here see, if the prices are rising from the P3 to P2, what is happening with the demand? The demand is falling from the Q3 to Q2. So if the price has risen, the demand has fallen. Similarly, if the price has fallen, what will happen to the demand? The demand will rise. So if price fall from the P2 to P1 to P2, the quantity demanded will rise from Q1 to Q2. Okay, that is what the law of demand tells us, that there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity. Now we come forward to the supply. See, there is a willingness to produce, and when there is the ability to produce, that is what we call the supply. Okay. So now here the law of supply tells us that there is a positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. That is, if the prices are rising, what will happen to the supply? The supply will also rise because the producers are happy with the higher prices. Okay, they are willing to buy, they are willing to produce more because the prices has increased, because their profit must have increased. Okay, So when the prices are rising, the supply will rise, and when the prices are falling, the supply will reduce to an amount. Okay, here in the table, as you can see, from when the price rose from 10 to 20, the supply also rose from 1 to 1.5. Okay, now if we see the equation of the supply with regards to the price, see, the supply is the function of price. That is, when the prices are changing, there will be some change in the supply. So this is the independent variable and supply is the dependent variable. The equation of the supply is, here the slope is positive. Here this is positive. Why? Because there is a positive relationship between the two. Okay, that's why there is a positive. When the prices are rising, the supply will also rise. This is what this positive is showing. B is showing that how much, if there is a change in P, how much there is a change in the supply. If price is changing by 1, how much the supply is changing, this is what is shown by the B, that is the slope. And this is negative because usually what happens, that when the price is 0, when this is 0, when the price is 0, will you want to produce something, will you want to supply something? Usually the producers do not want to supply something when they have 0, when the price is 0, when they have no profit. So that's why the intercept, that is when the price is 0, what will happen to supply? The supply will stop, or the producer will not want to supply. So now we move forward to the curve, that is, see, if $2, if the price is this much, then also the quantity supplied is 0, because even the variable cost or even any cost of the producer is not being covered by this. So they do not want to even produce at rupees 2, at the price 2. So when the price is increasing, the quantity supplied will also increase. So this has been increasing, we can say, from $4 to $6 to $8, and this has also been increasing to 3 to 6 to 9. Okay, that's why there is a positive curve, there is a positive sloping curve, or there is a upward sloping curve. Okay, that shows us the positive relationship. In the demand curve, there was a downward sloping curve that was showing us the negative relationship. Here we have a positive sloping curve that is showing us the positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. So that's what the law of supply also tells us, that there is a positive relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. So see, if we are moving from 4 to 6 rupees, okay, the price is increasing. The price is increasing from 4 to 6 rupees. So the quantity supplied will also increase. From 6 to 8, if the price is increasing, the quantity supplied will also increase. So this is what we call movement. Okay, this is what we call movement. That is, when there is a movement in the independent variable, what will happen to the dependent variable? This is what we call movement, which happens because of the independent variable. In both demand and supply, this is the movement that is happening because of the independent variable. So whenever the independent variable is changing, you can just understand that it is the movement in the curve. So next is market equilibrium, that when the supply and the demand are equal, then we say that the economy, or then we say that the market, here we are talking about the market mainly, then we say that the market is in equilibrium. Okay, when the demand and the supply are equal. What we are demanding 1.5 liters or something, and the production is also, or the supply is also of 1.5. So we can say that yes, the demand is equal to supply. Whatever we are demanding, the producers are supplying that. Here, if you can see that prices are high. When the prices are high, what will happen? The supplier will want to supply more because he is getting more profit, but the person that is demanding, he will not want to buy at such high prices. So the demand will reduce. So here there is excess supply. The HK is the excess supply. That is, here at higher prices we will want to supply more, but the demand is not of that much. Here P1, the demand will be very high and the supply will be less, because at lower prices the demand will be, the people will want to demand more, but the supply will not want to supply more when the prices are low. So this is the excess demand. When the demand is more, at lower prices the demand is more and the supply is not up to the mark or at that point. So this is the excess supply, and equilibrium is when the supply and the demand are equal, when both are happy with the price that is set in the market. So now we have, see, in previous one I told you about the movement. Movement is what? When the prices, when the independent variable is changing, and because of the change in the independent variable, the dependent variable is changing. That is what we call movement. But shift in demand supply. See, can you say that demand only and supply only depends on price? No. The supply and demand depends on many other factors. Like demand depends on the taste and preferences, the future expectations of the people, and many other things. The supply also depends upon the expectations of the future and the resources available. So they both depend on many other factors other than the price. So when we are deciding about the price and the quantity, then we can say that it is when we are keeping the other factors constant, okay, on which the demand and supply depends. And when the other factors changes, for example, let's say the taste and preferences of the people has increased, so there will be a shift from the D1 to D2. There will be increase in the demand because now the taste of the people are more towards chocolate. More people want to buy chocolate. So the demand in the economy will increase, and it is not because of the prices. It is not that prices are decreasing. It is just that the taste of the people has shifted towards the chocolates. So it will increase and the prices in the economy will increase, and there will be some things, maybe people taste and preferences. They were smoking more before. Now they have understood the hazard of the smoking and they are demanding less. So the demand will reduce, and when the demand reduces, the price will reduce and the quantity will also reduce. Next is supply. If there is like more resource, the wages have decreased. Let's say the wages have decreased, so the suppliers are earning, the producers are earning more profit, so they want to supply more, and so they will try to supply more. And if the wages have increased, then they will want to supply less because the profits of them have decreased, so they want to supply less, and so the supply curve will shift to the backward. It will shift backward or inwards, we can say. So that is the shift in the supply and demand curve. So thank you very much. I hope you have understood the demand and supply very well. If you have any query, you can mail us here or you can contact us through this number. Thank you.